Greetings and or salutations, and either welcome or welcome back to the channel if you have seen any of these before. Today we're checking out Biohunter, which is a 1995 anime film from Japan that was recommended to me by a friend. So I took your advice and I checked it out, and yeah, it was a ride. So you likely know the drill by now. Spoiler alert, yada yada yada. I'm going to be talking about scenes in the film and all these things that happen and blah blah, ruining it for you if you haven't seen it. So if you want to skip all that, you can skip to the timestamp that says, you know, thoughts or ratings or whatever I make it this week. That should theoretically be spoiler free. I will try to remember that by the time I get there. So you've been warned. All right, first thing we see, sex scene. Perfect, great way to start off any movie, obviously, in the creepy monster genre. And we get some creepy monster action right away. So there's a couple, they're making love or whatever, and the woman is saying, I'm really, really hungry. And he's like, could you, like, not? We're kind of in the middle of something. And she's like, no, like, I'm famished, like, I'm starving. I might die. And he's like, what is going on? And then his arm is gone and you see him fall to the ground and she has a big mouth on her chest or whatever. So yeah, there you go. So that's fun. That's our intro to this film. So we're starting off strong. Then we cut to it's like a lecture in a university or something, and this professor, I apologize, I may absolutely brutalize these characters' names. I'm not fluent in Japanese, but I'm gonna do my best. So his name is, I wrote it down here, Kashigawa. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, and if not, I apologize. So he is a professor at this university, and he's doing a lecture on like DNA and genetics and that kind of stuff. So I guess that's his class he teaches, is like genetics or biology or something along those lines. Anyway, class is about to end or whatever, and this, obviously it's obvious that he's either considering or having relations with one of his students who's like flirting with him and whatever. And anyway, class ends, she walks out. That's inconsequential to the story, so I don't even know why I mentioned that. Anyway, his buddy enters, and he's another scientist type guy by the name of Komada. And again, I apologize if I'm absolutely bastardizing that name. So they're kind of partners in crime who have secret lives, essentially. So they are what they call themselves biohunters. So what that means is there is a virus going around that does the mutations essentially in a person that we saw in that opening scene. So little faces and stuff growing out of their bodies, mutations. We see another variation where there's a guy with like tentacles and whatnot. And anyway, they're essentially going around trying to cure these people of that. And essentially are somewhat successful, I guess, if they catch it early, maybe. So they go to this guy's house who's called them in. And Komada has this thing where his eyes tear up in water, and like basically he not like boo-hoo crying, but like tears will form in his eyes when he's near the virus. So I guess he has like an extra sensory thing that can pick it up or whatnot. So they enter this house and he immediately starts tearing. They head downstairs, and there we have Marie, who is the girl from the very first scene. She's got a face here, faces all over. Well, I think there's like 3 or 4 faces on her. So yeah, she's the first person we see with this infection. So I don't know if this is like catching it early and it gets worse, or I mean, we do know eventually, but right now we don't know. Anyway, so they inject some sort of a serum. I guess it's like it kills the virus essentially. So they inject it in the face, on her shoulder, or maybe it was on her boob. I really don't remember. And the face like puffs up like really bad and like is screaming, and then dies and like kind of melts and whatever. And that's when I guess the rest of the virus realizes, oh crap, we're being attacked or whatever, and it kicks in and sort of possesses her more again, and she like breaks the chains and it attacks Komada, who all of a sudden morphs into like this creepy ass monster. So we find out through this scene and dialogue shortly after that he is also infected with this virus, but for whatever reason, his immune system and his, satiating it, or whatever you pronounce that word, with excess amounts of food. Because again, in the intro thing, we saw that this thing is like always hungry. So he's eating, a shit ton of food, and yeah, he apparently has a really good immune system, so he's able to somewhat control it. Anyway, that's his backstory. Cut back. Marie jumps out the window and runs up the wall vertically, kind of Spider-Man style, and this creature that is Komada breaks through the window and chases her, and it does a couple slices, and the little faces fall off of whatever various part of the body they're growing on and fall onto the ground and shriek and melt into nothingness. And essentially, I guess she's cured. Now, whether or not this leaves disfiguring scars or not, we'll never know. But the gentleman is very happy to have his daughter back healthy-ish. Anyway, whatchamacallit? Kashigawa takes a little sample of the mush that used to be a face and takes it back, and I guess he's examining it in there, trying to figure out. He's trying to design, I guess, a perfect cure, maybe. This one worked when he injected it into the little face or whatever, but yeah, he's trying to develop a way to do it without, risking the people that are trying to administer this cure to whoever's infected, which makes sense. Anyway, Komada decides to go for a walk. They're talking about his love life and stuff, and he does a little jab at least I'm not sleeping with my students or whatever. So that's why I'm assuming that he's either with this girl or is entertaining the idea or whatever. But it's never touched on again. Anyway, he goes for a walk, and it's night, and he's walking down this deserted street I'm assuming it's Tokyo, and some woman runs past him, and he looks. He's like, okay, that's interesting. And he keeps walking, and 3 guys come out, and they're like, have you seen, did you see a girl run by here? And he's like, no, I haven't seen anything. And then we're introduced to, what's his name? Yashikawa, I think his name is. Again, I apologize if I'm bastardizing his name. He's a really strong dude, a big-ass, tall guy. Got, red hair, so that dude. He's got coins in his hands, and he, bends the coins, with his bare hands. So he's very, very strong. He says, no, listen, you're going to tell me right now if you saw a girl or not. And he grabs Komada's head with one hand and starts crushing it. And you see, little bits of blood coming down. And so that's not good. And just as Komada's about to change into that monster form or whatever, because this guy has no fucking clue that he's a monster, right? You're not going to... The cops pull up and they interrupt everything, and the 3 guys run off, and cops is everything okay? And turns out that that woman is still there, and she's like, no, it's okay, officer, we're good. And they take off. Anyway, he decides, he wants to make sure she's okay. Can I walk you home? She's like, no, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. And he's like, have you gone to the police about these guys? And no, there's no point. Forget it. She runs off, but then his eyes start watering a little bit, and he's kind of like, what the hell? Is she infected? And so he calls out. Anyway, brings her back to Kashigawa's apartment, or their shared apartment, or whatever it is, and he's telling he's telling him about, I don't think this girl's not infected, but she has something to do with it. I know for a fact she does. Which is interesting. So I don't really know what the tears are triggered by if she's not actually infected. But it doesn't really matter, I guess. Anyway, she tells a backstory how her grandfather was a big fortune teller or whatnot. And apparently they know the name of this fortune teller. Is that Bocado or what is it? Bocado? I don't know. Again, I'm ruining these names. I apologize. Yes, it is. Bocado, I think that's what it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yes, that is in fact her grandfather, and he's apparently this world famous fortune teller who political people all use to tell their fortunes, and I guess whether they're going to win elections or if their mistress is going to come forward or whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. So apparently he had expressed some concerns about something and then just disappeared. So she's trying to find him, and these thugs are after her because they think she knows where he is also, but she doesn't really, but she kind of does, which we find out later, so that's fun. Anyway, she comes to the conclusion that of all the places that he could be, there's this waterfall that he found really peaceful, or like maybe he meditated by it or something, I don't know. So they decide to go there, but then suddenly Komada stops and he's like, do you hear that? And he runs out and he sees some guy running away. So obviously the thugs followed them and know where they are, so that's great. Anyway, they drive to this this waterfall the next day, and they're asking a bunch of people if they've seen Bokado, or is it Bokado? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the fortune teller grandpa. And no one's seen him, so that's kind of shit out of luck, essentially. So I don't know what the plan is, but they start driving away, and they're attacked. This truck, like a semi-truck, an 18-wheeler or whatever, pulls up beside them, and door opens, and no shit, it's that Yoshikawa guy or whatever, the big strongman dude, and he starts shooting up the car, this little Mitsubishi. It's taking like 150 bullets from like an Uzi with like an unlimited clip, because it just goes and goes and goes. Well, you know, cartoon logic, whatever. It's shot to shit, pops a tire, skids off the railing off of a cliff, and falls to its doom. And good old Komada, good thing he's like a demon monster thing, because he turns and he grabs them and they fall and whatnot, and the car explodes, but they're all good. So that's fun. They come to, and she's still oblivious. Her name's Sayaka, by the way. So anyway, so she's oblivious that he turned into a monster. She's just like, oh my god, we're safe. And they hear the waterfall, and they decide to walk to it, I guess. Well, they have no car, and may as well go to the place you're trying to go to. And as they get to like a clearing area, they look up, and there's a little temple up at the top, right above the waterfall. So they, I guess, do a little hike up there, and lo and behold, that's where Grandpa is. So he's there, and he tells them a story of, essentially, it's I think his name's, was it Take Sujiro? I think I'm gonna call him Take because it's easier. He's the chief minister of one of the political parties or something like that, who is like very influenced. He's in line to become the next prime minister, essentially. Like, that's the theory of this. So Grandpa here did a fortune telling reading of this politician, and apparently it was a grave outlook, or a grave outcome, saying essentially, you know, your fate, and don't tell anyone about this, but you know, you don't got long to live, essentially. So that's fun. And then after that, he sent his thugs to rough up Grandpa, I guess. Make sure that didn't come out, because that could, I guess, ruin his career. Maybe, I don't know if he believed it or not, or whatever. But anyway, Grandpa sensed this and took off before the thugs ever got there, and he's been chilling at that temple ever since. So that's his little backstory. But that's essentially it. So I mean, it's nighttime, and there's like a little kind of flirty scene between Komada and Sayaka, and he goes to hold her hand, but it turns into a monster, and he pulls it away quickly before she can see, so she's still oblivious, and whatever, she just, I guess, thinks, oh, because, you know, he tried to hold my hand, that's adorable, he's probably just shy, and then anyway, whatever, she fucks off. Anyway, then we cut to, Koshigaya and Grandpa chilling by the waterfall talking about stuff, and someone out of nowhere comes up behind him and clubs him and steals Grandpa, and Komada comes down, and hearing the commotion, he sees a helicopter flying, and it's like, that's not good, there's a helicopter. Okay, so he goes down, sees his buddy on the ground, the helicopter's not flying away, but he hears it or whatever, and he sees them loading Grandpa and Sayaka into the helicopter, and they take off, and he is running, trying to follow, but it's a helicopter, so good luck. Even if you turn into the monster, you're probably not gonna chase down a helicopter. Anyway, when Buddy comes to, they both decide, okay, we're gonna infiltrate, you know, this place. So I guess they know where they're going. So Well, I mean, yeah, if he's like a head political figure, you would know where the office is or whatever, his hideout or what. It wouldn't be a hideout because he's a public figure. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they go to his base of operations and infiltrate, and Kashi Gaya gets. I'm gonna call him Kashi. It's easier. So Kashi gets like a gun to his head, but then friggin' Kamada kicks it out of the hand. They take down the guard and they sneak in and everything. We have Sayaka, who's chained up in a separate room, in a different area from where they're B&Eing right now. So she's handcuffed up, and this creepy old dude who is Take comes in, and he's kind of like drooling, and he opens her shirt, and you gotta have a gratuitous, chest through the bra shot. Gotta love those see-through bras, right? Anyway, he's getting real creepy. I forgot to mention, sorry, before he was taken or whatever, Grandpa there told Kashi that essentially they need to eat livers or whatever to stay alive. So essentially, the people that get possessed by this virus demon or whatever, they are essentially dead but don't even know it yet. So basically when they die, there's a brief moment in time where the demon can take over the body and keep it functioning enough to have like a mobile body essentially, and the mind's still active, so it's not really aware that it's dead. I assume maybe it doesn't always know when it's transforming, but maybe it does. I don't know. But it hunts young women for whatever reason specifically and eats their livers. So there have been articles about a serial killer who's essentially dismembering people, but we know clearly at this point that it's these infected people that have this virus. So where was I? Oh yeah, so anyway, he's getting real creepy and like touching her leg and stuff, and I'm kind of like, okay, where is this going? Anyway, he gets called away before anything that I don't want to see is on the screen, thankfully, because Grandpa's coming too. He's waking up, and he basically tells him, he says, listen, I just want to know, like, what's the deal? What did you see, etc. He tells him everything. He's like, basically, you're dead. You don't even know it. There's like a demon in you, all this stuff. Tells him flat out. Obviously, Take's not taking that very well. Ends up caning him in the face. Then we find out in this scene, yes, it's confirmed he is infected by this thing because tentacles fly out of his... it's an anime, you gotta have tentacles, right? So tentacles fly out of his chest and like impale Grandpa, and Grandpa's dead. So there you go. He's out. Out and about. At this point, I forgot to say, so, fuck's sakes, I always do this. Rewind back when the helicopter's taken off, and Komada's running towards it. They drop like a bomb or something, and his arm, like, his hand blows off, and he wakes up in a hospital later. But as his hand's blowing off, I guess it's still, like, conscious, or, like, whatever, because it grabs the ski of the helicopter. So anyway, fast forward back to where we left off. Just killed Grandpa. Sayaka's still chained up. The hand is crawling through the vents and finds Sayaka and, like, with its fingers undoes her handcuffs and then falls on her back and absorbs into her back. And then she realizes she's free. Awesome. Looks up. The vent that the hand went down that she didn't even know was there is open. So she climbs up the vent. Perfect. Okay, I mix up the order again. Grandpa isn't dead yet, but she sees Grandpa get killed through the vents. Sorry. My bad. So the escape happened before Grandpa dies. She goes in the vents, is trying to escape through the vents, looks down, sees Grandpa getting impaled by tentacles. There you go. She lets out a scream. Take looks up. Okay, there's a person in the vents. Let's go get her. And just as he's climbing through the vents, friggin', what is his name again? Shit. Koshigaya runs in, and he's got like a little pistol thing with an antidote. So, I mean, I guess that's a much more efficient way than a needle, right? Just boom, bullet, healed, I guess. Anyway, we'll find out how effective that is later. So, he just misses it. He's up in the vents chasing her. Shit, that's not good. Then what happens? Oh yeah, Buddy goes into beast mode. So he's ready to go. There's a big confrontation. We see Sayaka off to the side, not dead, but like injured and like ripped shirt, of course, and everything. And Komata in monster form comes down, has a face-off with Take, seemingly kills him. He has like tentacles and stuff and everything, and he's trying to strangle Komata, and Komata's biting his neck and eventually rips his head off. So there you go, Take's dead, right? Cool. Head falls on the ground. And then he runs over and shit, I forgot to mention this too. So fucking he tries to use his gun to fire the antidote or whatever Kashi does, and he gets knocked down under a bunch of rubble. So anyway, just killed friggin' Take, goes and lifts the rubble off and helps him up. But guess what? He ain't dead. Tentacles come flying like through monster Komata's head and arms and legs and everything, and he's not doing good. He's basically on the verge of death at this point. Which, I'm saying this even though they say that they're all dead. Apparently he's half human still, not completely monster or demon or whatever. So, again, I guess because of that immune system, he's like on the verge of either, right? But I mean, he knows he can't hold it up forever. It's wearing him down. So at this point, with the tentacles through him and everything, he's basically seeing the light and floating to it and everything. And that's when Sayaka comes to, and I guess she must have seen him transform or something, because she says, "Don't die, don't die, don't die." And he hears that, and well, he snaps out of it. Hooray! Right? Fuck! I just ruined this whole story by doing everything out of order. But he didn't shoot the guy yet, so he's got... let's just rewind the whole freaking fight scene. Okay, so... runs in, tries to shoot him, gets knocked, pinned down. Komata monster version and friggin' Take monster version fight. Strangle, head rips off, falls down, thinks he's dead. Then he frees him from the rubble. Then he gets impaled with all the shit. Then he floats up and sees the light. I hope this is great for you guys. You're following, right? But yeah, then he sees the light. Then Sayaka's like, "Don't die," and I guess he doesn't die, and he fights back, and Buddy... I fucked it up again. He's not free yet. Oh my god. Do I have to redo this whole thing again? Okay. Runs in, tries to shoot him, gets knocked down, covered in rubble. Monsters fight. Monster's head rips other monster head off. Falls down. Is he dead? I don't know. Impaled. About to die. Sees the light. Don't die. Now we're up to where we're supposed to be. So now, Kashigaya is able to just reach his gun. Fires the thing into him. To Take, who calcifies or turns to stone or whatever and crumbles and falls down, and bada boom. Then we have Komata turned back to his human form. He's still super strong. He's all naked and glistening and wonderful, right? Freeze Kashigaya says like a almost goodbye to Sayaka, so I guess their romance is never going to be a thing, because he just decides to fuck off entirely, and she's sitting there all sad. And that's essentially it. Then there's like an epilogue where there's like a voiceover where it says basically Komata regained his control over the entity, or the virus I should say, due to his unwillingness to submit to the desires of evil spirits in the underworld, or something along those lines. And because of that, they were spared from something that could be like so much more worse, or whatever. And then you have that classic scene where I based my thumbnail on of jumping over and, you know, silhouette in the moon, and roll the credits. Okay, so I apologize for having to, you know, retell the climax like 6 times, because I keep putting it out of order and then like, oh no, I gotta fix this, oh no, I gotta fix that. But you got it now, right? We're good? Alright. What did I think? Okay, so this is a very, very short film. I think it's less than an hour. Even including the credits, I think it's less than an hour. So I'm not sure if it was a TV special, or if... Again, I don't know much about anime, so maybe a lot of their movies are shorter. I don't know. But that aside, what did I think? Neat story. So it kind of toyed with the idea. I don't know if I mentioned this in the actual body of it. It toyed with the idea of the virus being, maybe it's a virus, maybe it's just a demon, right? Like, it affects the cells on like a cellular level, but whether it's spread by an actual virus or if it's an actual demon, we don't know. They even call it the demon virus because I guess they're, Kashigaya is like a scientist, so he assumes it's a virus, obviously, right? But it's, doing things that viruses don't do. So that's fine. As far as the characters go, they're okay. I mean, again, anime has like a type of character essentially that, are like multiple different types of characters that are kind of standard, and I don't know which are which really. So to me, they seemed okay. We couldn't, in an hour's runtime, you can't flush out everyone's entire backstory or whatever, but the little bit of backstory we got was fine, about what happened to Grandpa there when he told the fortune to, what's his name and all that. There's some talk about, supernatural things just maybe being science that we don't understand yet, or not exactly in that sense, but that's kind of like what I picked up on. Like, is fortune telling real? I don't know. Maybe one of them doesn't believe it, one thinks maybe it's possible, etc. So there's stuff like that that's kind of neat. The creature design was pretty cool. Yeah, I like the main protagonist creature's design. That was cool. The opposing forces creature design, you gotta have tentacles, right? I mean, there's even a scene like, maybe I shouldn't have said there's no spoilers in this part, because maybe there is, but anyway, there's one scene where you gotta do the tentacles down the throat, right, of the girl. So Sayaka gets tentacles down her throat. Like, yeah, essentially, you got to throw that in there. But I mean, it's neat, whatever. It's the animation style was pretty decent enough. I mean, again, not an anime expert, so I don't know if it was really good quality or really bad quality, but it looked like what I would assume mid-90s anime would look like. So that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's about all I got to say for that part of it. Like I said, it was kind of a neat concept. Overall, should you check it out? I mean, I'm going to say, if you like anime, for sure check it out. If you're kind of like... Okay, so I feel that it was not as good as that Tokyo Fish Attack one that I watched like a long time ago. I feel like that one was more insane and crazy, that I enjoyed it more than this. I didn't not enjoy this, but the level of crazy was, even though it sounds kind of crazy, the level of crazy was significantly less than Fish Attack. So again, saying it one more time, not an anime expert, so maybe Fish Attack just actually is insane, not just for like a movie, but, or not just for anime, but just in general is just insane. Like, even, I don't know. Does anime get this weird? I've only seen like 5 movies in my life, so I'm not one to say anything about that. So I'm not going to get too deep into that either, because I don't feel that I have enough knowledge on the subject to say whether it was a good anime or a bad anime. But I can tell you whether I liked it or not. And yes, it was neat. It's short enough too that I could see myself watching it again, so I probably will watch it again. What am I going to rate it? I think it's above a 6. Let's do like a 6.2. 2. Yeah. Now throw a third 2. 6.222. That is the official rating for Biohunter. Yeah, like I said, if you like anime and you like weird stuff like this, check it out. If it sounds like it's fun in a bun, go for it. If you don't like anime, don't check it out, because it's an anime. What are you doing? Like, it's kind of obvious. And if you're on the fence, I mean, it's short enough that put it in. It's an hour, less than an hour. Even if you don't really like it, it's an hour. Who cares? Fast-paced enough that you're not sitting there bored listening to people talk. So, I mean, you get your action, you get your little bit of backstory. There's no forced romance, even though there's like hinting toward it for that one little scene, but they don't end up together, so that's a nice change of pace. All around, decent. 6.222. That's my rating. Biohunter 1995. Adios. Or sayonara. There we go.